Hi all and welcome to my channel again. In this particular session, we are going to talk about the 5 tricks which basically help you to write the code like a pro Python developer. So we'll be talking about these 5 tricks. Few of them we have already discussed in the past also in quite a detail, right? Some of them will be list comprehension, which we have already talked about in the past. Some you might find new, it's the first trick that we are going to discuss. So let's get started, right? I've already written the code because the code is very smaller in length, and you can pause the video and have a look at the code that has been written over here, right? I will just show you the output, and then you can go accordingly, right? So let's get started. So the first one is basically a very commonly used and very important concept, and the concept name is called as the enumerate, right? So normally, if you need the positioning, right, for a particular item in a list, you have to maintain and separate a counter variable, right? So that can automatically be achieved through enumerate. Like, let's say apple is at a 0th position, banana is at first position, and the mango is at second position, right? Uh, so basically, if you talk about this particular way, so this is a pro way, sorry, not a beginner way. So if you talk about the pro way, uh, we have written the fruits, right? And what we are going to do is, for index and fruit in enumerate fruits, we are going to print index and fruit, right? So what we are going to do is just run this up. Let's wait for the output. So now you can see the index coming over here, right? 0, 1 and 2. So basically, based on the index, you are seeing the outputs along with the index, right? So obviously apple is at the 0th index, so you are seeing the apple at the 0th, the banana at the first index, and obviously mango at the last index, which is the index number 2. Okay, let's carry on. I'll hash out this code because that's no longer required. Not longer required as mean we are not going to run it, right? So I'll use triple quote to test this out, and I will remove this code and take this code one step down towards the third, right? So yeah, this is also one of the key concepts that we have already discussed in the past. If you remember, we were talking about how to create and update a dictionary from a list, and when we sorted out a real-time what would you say, a real-time this thing uh, problem that we had in one of the previous sessions. We solved a real-time world problem from Python, which was a real-time interview problem. So that time also we used the concept of zip. So basically what zip does is it can process the corresponding elements together, and this basically eliminates the need for manual indexing, right? So let's say this is the current code, right? The name is John, David and Victor, and their corresponding scores, right? So basically it is going to display the name and their corresponding scores, right? The other application that we saw was related to taking the two lists and displaying them together. So we basically converted them to uh, dict zip of dictionary. If you remember, you can go ahead and have a look at my previous code, right? Or maybe if I have it over here, I can showcase it to you in one of my recent files. Just give me a moment. It's not the recent. Okay. So, yeah, it could be having this one. Let me show you, right? So this was the way when we did the combination of A and B, that is the two list, and then we created them in a dictionary format, right? So basically A became the key and B became the value, and then we were able to get the output, right? So This is one of from the previous sessions, right? So that's about zip. Now let's remove this from here and put it over here, right? So it would be here. Zip is done, and now we are off to the swapping of variables in a single line. So right, it's a very common procedure that we perform in most of the programming languages, be it C++, be it Python, be it Java. We have to swap the variables every now and then. This is also one of the concepts. If you remember, we did it during the sorting of the variables when we tried for the bubble sort, uh, or there is other sorting methods. One of the sorting methods this was covered, which was basically swapping of the variables. So let's say a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20. So you just have to write a single line, a comma b is equal to b comma a, right? And based on that you will get your output, right? So now a's value is going to be 10 and b's value a's value is going to be 20 and b's value is going to be 10, right? So a has been compared equivalent to b and b has been compared equivalent to a, right? Let's run it. I think you already most of you will be knowing the answer. Let's run it. So now you can see when I printed the value of a, the value of a is 20. When I printed the value of b, the value of b is 10, right? Let's move forward. So now we are here, and this I'll have to remove this. Yes, it's okay. Okay, so the fourth trick is related to, just give me a moment. Okay, so the fourth trick is related to the list comprehension. This was one of the complete sessions that we compared, that we went through in details in one of our previous sessions. So basically, list comprehension provides a compact way to create new lists for existing iterables. It's a much faster way as compared to creating a list or looping in through a list. So let's say you want the square of all the variables and you just want to do number into number for number in number. So you'll get 1, 4, 9, 16 and 25. That will be your output, right? So let's run it out. I hope you got the gist. So it's much faster as compared to the normal list. So that is why we use list comprehension. It's a compact way to create a new list from the existing iterables, right? It helps us to remove the multiple lines of code that we are doing for a normal list. Okay, so that's about the list comprehension. Let me remove this. Yes, and now last but not the least, we come to a newer concept, which is basically any and all, right? So the any function returns the true if at least one of the items in an iterable is true, while all returns true only if every item is true, right? So if any of the single values is true, it will return true, and this will return false because you can see that one of the values is false, right? So let's run this out and let's see the results for ourselves, right? So as discussed, you can see any of the values was true. So you can see already two values are true. So since even a single value is true, it is going to display true. So the answer is true. And all is just the opposite scenario where all the values should be true, right? If any single value is false, it is going to return as false, right? So it got the particular value is false, right? So these are the four very simple concepts that can make you look like a pro developer, and you can use these concepts in multiple uh, larger projects, or say larger scripts that you are going to write to resolve the issue, or you are basically addressing a use case that you are developing in a customer's development environment, and you will move it to the prod environment to make it go live in their environment. So definitely these concepts are going to help you out in the longer run, right? So that's all for today's video. I hope you have liked and enjoyed this session. If there are any comments, please leave that out in the comment section, and I would see you into the next video. Thank you so much.